The college football experience week 0 preview and picks, as well as 12-team playoff projections episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. They just introduced college football best ball, folks. Get on over there. Promo code TCESGPN at Underdog Fantasy. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Brock Purdy from Iowa State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football experience. Yes. Oh, we're already there. No. How you folks doing? Week 0 is upon us, and I don't have a producer, so I'm pressing every goddamn button. My computer's going like the Iowa offense right now. Folks, we are finally here. We got football in less than what? Like 72 hours. We're like 72 hours away from football. I don't know. I can't do my quick math, but I mean, we're finally here. We've made it. Hopefully you've checked out all 134 previews. Well, majority of them. We're down to like 12. They'll be done by the time the ball kicks for each and every team. So go check out all of those. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Hit that like and subscribe button because we talk college football year round here, and we got live bullets, man. It feels so good to have live bullets.
Amen.
I tell you, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my database dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
That sounds like Florida State to Kirk Herbstreit. And he's doing college game day in Ireland with those drunk Seminole fans. Have fun with that. Have fun with that, Kirk. All right.
Got a little history with him now, doesn't he?
That's going to be fun. Excited. We got 8 games. We got 8 games on the slate. Still a week 0. I think we had 11 last season. So, in my opinion, flag on the play. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh!
Let's get it going. Let's get it going. The season is here. I can taste it. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes with my, I maybe I have PTSD from my son, but I just wake up and I just like, oh yeah, UTEP's running back situation is underrated. It's underrated this year. We're going to talk all about it. How you doing, Patty C?
I'm great. Hey, you know what? That is great PTSD for your son to witness as he grows up. You know, dad just rolling over his sleep, shaking about ECU losses, Colorado. I guess Colorado, Michigan's the first play that comes to mind. That gives Michigan fans PTSD. That is another glorious thing we have to look forward to this year. Fucking amazing. Let's rock.
Let's go. Shout out to Adam Davis. I can't wait. I'm so tired of betting the MLB. A lot of money last year on college basketball. I'm hoping we can do the same with college football. Well, you would have, because I mean, if and you will. Let's go. Let's get it going. We're also joined by third man in the booth, the DFS god himself. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking homeboy homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lot giving. Former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it a Red Sea Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's up, guys? We finally made it. Here we are.
They're playing this in the bars in Dublin, acoustic style.
I hope they are.
Right?
Get that U2 shit out of here. Play this.
We are here, guys. I mean, look, this episode is basically, we're going to go through all 8 games that will be happening on Saturday. We will go through our college football playoff projections, and just, what we have going, national champ, everything. This is the final episode of the preseason, really, because the season starts next Wednesday at this time. I think we're going to do a Monday episode talking about the Thursday, Friday games, and then a Wednesday episode talking about the Saturday, Sunday, Monday games. But we are locked in and ready to go, folks.
Don't
and
forget about the DFS episodes either.
That's right. This Friday, we will have a DFS episode dedicated to week 0. And me and NC Nick will be dropping those DFS episodes really all throughout the season. Every Friday you can count on that. But I also feel like once the Tuesday, Wednesday slates start happening, you're going to have them scattered through everything there. So jump on over there. We are home. I feel like running through this fucking wall right now. You know what I mean? Let's go. All right. That's all I got left. I can't get out there and play. Can't do anything.
How many previews would you say you did between FBS and FCS?
I mean, well, look, the number keeps growing. When I agreed to do this thing, it was like 129. Now we're at 134. It's 136 next season. And Tarleton, who we're going to talk about today, could be 137 because they're making a strong case for it with the money they've been putting up lately.
That's just individual teams. That doesn't mean also
the conference previews,
conferences, FBS. I mean, woo. You're a busy man.
I mean, we're rocking heavy here, going deep into episodes. So, I mean, I don't even know. I can't even count. You know me. All right. All I do is count my money that I win. I can't count on anything else.
Well, you and College Football Campus Tour have previewed every stadium too.
That's right. Add it to the list.
We talked, every single stadium for week 0. We've already talked about. Go listen to the Stadium Heads podcast, youtube.com/@StadiumHeadsSGPN. Get on over there. But enough of me talking good about myself. All right. Let's pick some fucking winners. Let's pick some winners.
What we're here for.
Week 0 is here. And the first game, we're going to go chronologically. And I got slides, youtube.com/the college experience. If you can't get to the slides, it's still good on the audio side. It'd be nice, though. We talked about all that work. If you could hop over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. I mean, it's that season, folks. If you did it 2 years ago, we need it again. If you did it a year ago, do it again. It helps us. Sponsors, look at that shit. They said, who the hell is this Pick Dundee idiot? Do people actually like them? Well, some yes, debatable. Some no.
Sometimes they be good. Sometimes maybe shit.
Exactly. I need to bring that back. I need to find that on the soundboard. You know what? That was a casualty of of like when basketball season went. I switched the soundboard, and it's on there. It's just I lost muscle memory. I don't remember where it is now. Folks, before we talk week 0, I want to tell you are listening to the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and because it is football season, everything in the merch store is 10% off with the promo code football. Yes. I'd recommend getting on over there and getting yourself a Pick Dundee t-shirt or a George Mason Start Your Football Program t-shirt or a Patty C t-shirt. Get on over there. All right. Studies have shown that you're going to get a lot more ass when you're wearing those shirts on a Tuesday in a bowling alley past 10 p.m. All right. So do that. Plus, college football kicks off this week. Tune into, obviously, the Sports Gambling Podcast and the College Football Experience for Week 0 picks and all your favorite futures. We got another episode following this episode where we talk about win total locks in the Mountain West and AAC. And then Friday, we're slated for the Sun Belt, MAC, and CUSA to get all those conference win total locks out there, folks. So get on over there. And remember, as always, to let it ride. All right, we are back. And here, shout out to Lane Gretzky, giving us 5 America. Let's go. Great to see the guys back. Let's get this money. Appreciate you. Folks, we got a game kicking off early in the morning on Saturday. Dublin, Ireland. All right, let's get to it. Let's see if we got Saudi Arabia State. It's a quick flight. They fly direct from Kuwait right into Dublin. All right. Saudi Arabia State is laying 11. The over-under's at 55.5. I mean,
pretty sure we just showed how ignorant we are. Isn't Kuwait an entirely different country than Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Close enough.
What's a city in Saudi Arabia? I'm just pulling it out of my ass here.
Dubai?
What's a city?
No,
Dubai's alone. I don't know.
That's United Arab Emirates. No one knows.
Yeah.
We're fucking idiots. We've established that.
What was I thinking? What was that city in Saudi Arabia I was thinking of when I said Kuwait? There's a city over there. I looked it up one time. Who was the general back then again? That I have his rookie card again.
Saddam Hussein.
Schwarzkopf?
Is it Schwarzkopf? Schwarzkopf. Yeah. I have a Schwarzkopf rookie card if anyone wants to trade.
And also Riyadh is the main city in Saudi
I
Arabia.
knew it. I fucking knew it.
Same as from Office Space. This isn't Riyadh. They're not going to saw your arms off.
So here we are. Florida State's laying 11. I'm sorry. Saudi Arabia State's laying 11. And the over-under sitting at 55.5. Guys, I mean, I'm curious where you're at here. We got, Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, Jordan Travis, Trey Benson, Jaheim Bell, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, all those guys gone. All right. They're returning 4 starters on offense and 5 starters on defense. They go out and get DJU. This is 3rd offense in 3 years. And meanwhile, the real Seminole, not to be pre-transfer portal bullshit, was Chris Wenke. He's the OC of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. All right. Ooh. It's personal for him. All right. Haynes King is back. He had a money year last season, like statistically better than I think we all thought. And this is year 2 in the offense. We've seen so many transfer quarterbacks be great in year 2. Haynes King, can he be that? They also have Jamal Haynes at the running back spot, and those receivers, Eric Singleton, Malik Rutherford, were pretty damn good a season ago. 8 starters back on the offense. Now the defense was terrible a year ago, but they got 5 starters back on defense, and they go out and hire Mike Elko's defensive coordinator at Duke last season. Tyler Santucci, underrated hire. You know, I'm taking the fucking points here. All right. Give me the 11. And I personally got it I got it at 12.5 10 days ago or something, 8 days ago, but it's still at 11. Anything above 10, I think you take Georgia Tech. I don't think a money line play is crazy here because we've seen Ireland historically be kind of, with the exception of the Navy Notre Dame game, like Nebraska was a heavy favorite against Northwestern. Northwestern upset them. I believe UCF lost on the final play of the game against Penn State back when they were in the CUSA a couple of years ago. And then even before that, there was another one that was an upset. But NC Nick, what are you doing here in Dublin?
Well, I have gotten the last 2 games in Ireland correct. I'm drinking Irish whiskey as a good luck charm. The Irish are, known for their good luck charms. No, I'm right there with you, man. I think continuity is huge, especially in week 1 or week 0, I should say, even better. So Florida State, I think their offensive line is going to be excellent, but there's question marks basically at every other position they have, including DJU. DJU is a solid college quarterback, maybe even some would say a pretty good college quarterback. But who are his pass catchers?
Yeah,
I mean, the 3 guys last year who are projected to start or get the most of the targets caught 12 balls last year, 13 balls last year, 5 balls last year. I think the running back position is a little bit more established than receiver, and Georgia Tech was really bad defending the rush last year. I'm talking 3rd worst in the nation, giving up like 225 yards per game on the ground last year. But I think with a questionable passing attack, they're going to be able to load the box and slow down that Florida State offense. It's going to take the Noles a few weeks to get things cranking offensively. It has to, with that much turnover. On the flip side, Georgia Tech brings back a lot on offense. I think they're going to be able to score enough points to keep this close. Yeah, give me the points all day. I also kind of favor an underplay. I think 55 is a bit too much. I would expect both teams to be in the mid-20s, low 20s. Ultimately, I think you're right. I think Florida State pulls it out. But it's not crazy to sprinkle a little bit on the Yellow Jackets also.
Well, has DJU ever won like a huge game? I feel like the Washington game, they were right there and he didn't get it done. I feel like
did he beat Notre Dame in the ACC championship?
He might have.
I'm not. That was a few years ago.
And the COVID season, right? Because they put him in the ACC that year, right? I think you're right.
But Notre Dame,
maybe.
yeah. So
yeah.
I'm thinking. I don't know.
I think people are sleeping on Georgia Tech a little bit too. I mean, they had some decent wins last year, like the Miami game, UNC, Central Florida in the bowl game. They hung tough with Louisville in the opener, and they actually played Georgia fairly decently in the regular season finale last year. I think this Georgia Tech team is definitely a solid college football team. I think they're going to come across the pond, and they're there to compete.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is Florida State had some pretty close games last year against maybe not so great competition. You mentioned a common opponent that Georgia Tech had beaten in Miami. Granted, it was on a miracle, but Florida State only beat them by 7. So a comparable performance there. They, had a 4-quarter battle with a losing Florida team. Barely squeaked by Boston College. Had to get overtime for Clemson. Even Virginia Tech hung with them for about 3 quarters. So, and Virginia Tech was a 500 team last year. So Florida State, it's tough to say whether they got exposed in the bowl game, but I do think that they maybe weren't the dominant team that their record kind of shows. I will say this, there's probably no team that is more angry throughout the offseason and has more to prove than Florida State. I think they're probably excited at the fact that if they do their job this year, they're going to get in the playoff if they win the conference.
A lot of those guys are gone, though.
That's true. I agree with you that I think Georgia Tech's offense, the continuity there is a big thing. I think Haynes King. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who's the better quarterback, Haynes King or DJU?
I think I would take Haynes King.
I mean, Haynes King threw for 2,800 plus last year. He ran for over 700, 37 total touchdowns. I think year 2 in the system, it's critical that he limits his mistakes this year. He brings down those 16 interceptions under double digits, and that's going to be critical here. Don't turn the ball over against Florida State, and you're going to be in the game. And I think he does that in year 2.
True. Do you think the Alabama transfers will be major impact players for Florida State?
I'm sure Mike Norvell will find ways creatively for them to be. But here's the thing. If this game was played in October, I think I would take Florida State minus the points. But it's not. And to me, learning a third offense in 3 years, I never thought he fine-tuned the offense last season at Oregon State. You watched it, you're just like, gosh, he's decent, but he was just a little bit better. And to me, like, he could complete the home run pass. It was more so everything else. You know what I mean? Of like just like a 10-yard hitch. It's just a little late. You know what I mean? It's just a little late.
DJU or
yeah, DJU. And I felt like I think he's still a solid college quarterback, but dude, they've had Jordan Travis for like the past 5 years. I feel like it's gonna take some time, I think, for them to fine tune everything. Norvell will probably they have some talent. But I just don't think game 1 in a Dublin, Ireland of all places, I just don't think I can count on that as a double-digit favorite here. So I'm on the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the total?
I actually think I would lean over, but I don't know because it's the first game of the year and it's in Ireland of all places. But I just feel like both offenses. I mean, if Georgia Tech's defensive hire, if they can fix that. Maybe then the under hits, but Santucci coming in, maybe because he did wonders at Duke in year 1 from taking over Cutcliffe's horrible defense. If he does that at Georgia Tech, then Georgia Tech's like a contender to win the ACC championship.
You wonder how much was that Santucci and how much was it Elko, or was it a blend of the two? So he does have to prove it on his own. But I mean, he does have a pretty good track record right now. So I do like the higher. I think the defense will be better. Like I said, it can't be much worse against the run at least. So yeah, I mean, for me, I have Florida State. If I'm going to throw a score prediction out there, Florida State wins 27-23.
There is a 50% chance of rain. Shout out to Ryan Hasty asking about. Yeah, it's outside. It's at that stupid, filthy rugby stadium.
Viva Stadium. What's wrong with that? It's a grass stadium. It's outdoors.
No, it just looks like shit. It just looks like 2020. They destroyed like a 200-year-old stadium for that garbage.
True. Okay, I didn't know that.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much stadium heads coming out here. No. Look, I think that's a factor that when you're talking about the total there, playing on grass with probably, like you said, 50% chance of rain, that's going to slow them down, especially if Georgia Tech's defense is getting better and Florida State's offense might be slow out of the gates. I think you go under there. I am almost, though, tempted to take Florida State on the points just because they're going to be so motivated. I don't know that, Georgia Tech being Georgia's little brother, so to speak, is going to be an additional motivating factor. I think they're just the unlucky recipient of Florida State's rage. But that alone makes me want to say Florida State. But for all the other reasons, I think I'm with you. I think I'm going to go Georgia Tech, rather.
YouTube.com/The College Experience. Noah Bina called the boards, showed us the chance of rain there. Yeah, I mean, isn't every day in Ireland a chance of rain?
Pretty much.
But that could matter. I mean, I will say this. Haynes King did turn the ball over quite a bit last season. And that could be a factor. If he hasn't fixed that, that's how they get blown out. Honestly, that's how they get blown out. If he starts making turnovers left and right, I think that would be how, we don't hit this. But at Fentrell Cypress back on the defense, their secondary is actually in pretty good shape. I actually think the defense for Florida State is better than the offense. The offense is a huge question mark to me. The defense, sure, I actually think is in decent shape. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Georgia Tech, Brent Key's got a lot of momentum. Just landed the 5-star offensive tackle that he got over Ohio State.
Woo!
Yeah. And his dad, the offensive tackle's dad, he said, hey, they came to pay. So Georgia Tech, maybe all that winning by the Bulldogs, wake it up. The Yellow Jackets there.
The other thing is maybe Florida State, maybe all that hubbub in the offseason was a bit of a distraction. I don't know. But it does seem like Georgia Tech is the more definitively forward-rolling program right now, whereas Florida State, with all that crap that surrounded the program and wanting to switch conferences in the offseason, all throughout the offseason, it's tough to say whether they've hit their peak under Norvell or whether they're even going to be able to maintain it. If they do maintain it, even then, with Georgia Tech getting better, it's still a tough call. But I think with all that said, again, we're all on Georgia Tech, right?
We are.
I just with the points, like the way I see the game going. I mean, and I don't think it's a crazy money line play just because I think Florida State's defense will be there. If Haynes King doesn't turn the ball over, I think Georgia Tech covers and they may even win the game. If and maybe one turnover will be okay, but if he turns it over 2-3 times, there was a couple of games last season where he had like three interceptions in the game. If that happens, they're fucked. Now the other side is like, I just want to see Florida State's offense to see where they're at. I heard reports at the recent practice that they were not sharp at all.
We have no idea who their wide receiver one is. We have no idea if it's going to be Williams or Toafili, who gets most of the carries at running back. We have no idea how DJU is how quickly he's gonna adapt to the new offense. Way too many question marks to lay double digits with that offense.
I agree. Folks, we're gonna get to game 2 chronologically. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the College Football Experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy Pick'em is here, and they're giving you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry. Or play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball. Yes, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million at prizes. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. So get on over there. Sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Circa Survivor. Circa Millions. Yes. This weekend, get yourself out to Vegas. Watch week 0. It's actually the perfect weekend. Vegas is always a great time to go for the weekend, but I would say week 0 is like the perfect dosage of college football because sometimes I'll go some of the other weeks and like you get so shit hammered. You're like, I don't even remember the night games. You know what I mean? You have no recollection of the night games. I feel like the small sample size is almost perfect there. But Circus Sports is back with Circus Survivor and Circuit. It's giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. If you don't have a trip booked for Vegas yet before football season, may I recommend this very weekend? Yes, I know tomorrow my pals Sean Stacking the Money Green and Real Money Kramer, as well as CJ Sullivan, the Bet Detective from the Sports Gambling Podcast and the Bottom Line Bombs Podcast, are all heading out there. And they're going to be enjoying some of the open bar events. And you can too. Get on out there at the greatest sports book in the world. It's August 22nd to August 24th. Use that promo code SGP15 as well for this weekend. Get you 15% off your hotel room at Circa. And you do want to sign up in general, whether you're going out this weekend or not, at Circus Sports between now and September 7th, and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with the proxy. Go to proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 with the promo code SGP, and a free hat will be thrown in too. Who doesn't want a free hat? All right. We are back talking Yellow Jackets. And here we go. I mean, I will say that the chat was talking about this. Seems like everybody is on Georgia Tech. That's
why the lines come down.
Yeah.
Damn near 3 points.
Yeah. I still think it's the right side though. I know it's chalky. You know how this gets cooked though? If it's a close game the entire time, Florida State takes like a 7-point lead and Haynes King, in the rain throws like a pick six to you get the backdoor cover for Florida State or Saudi Arabia State. Everyone's eating sand sandwiches. It's going to be fantastic. All right. Game 2.
Ignorance level is through the roof.
Game 2 is McNeese State, the Cowboys. Look at this. This is the same fucking logo. At Tarleton State. Which logo is cooler? Let's be honest. You got the hat off the guy, and the other one's got the hat on. I kind of like McNeese a little bit better. Well, I don't know. The Texas State thing in the background's kind of fire.
How do you like McNeese better? The Tarleton guy's swagging it out. He said, "Fuck you, I'm taking my hat off." McNeese guy's barely staying on that horse.
I don't like swag. I like blue collar. That McNeese guy, he's just doing it, man. He's not trying to showboat.
The whole point of a rodeo is the showboat, right? I don't know. I'm not part of that.
True? Is that true?
I don't know. Maybe
you
it's just to ride a horse. I don't know.
You got some experience with that?
You're asking the wrong guy. I mean,
tell me you dated a gal who did it.
You ever gone 8 seconds? Is that how long you're supposed to stay on a bull?
Never made 8 seconds. I wouldn't know anything about it.
All right. Well, look, Tarleton State is an exciting program because they came up from the D2 ranks 3 years ago. They weren't eligible for the FCS playoffs because of some jackass rule by the NCAA. Now they're eligible this year. They're throwing a ton of money into their program. Just redid their stadium. They want FBS, and they've made it pretty known. I think if I had to place a wager on who the next FBS team, I know everyone would say North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State. No, it's Tarleton State, and maybe one other school that we'll talk about. But Tarleton's made it known that that's their mission. McNeese, Tarleton. This is a game that brought us home from COVID. If you remember this, folks. This was on like Fox Sports Southwest 2. During the COVID season, we had no football. No one had the cojones to play football. You had fucking Gavin Newsom saying you can't do shit. And then he's at a dinner with like 700 humans. Don't wear a mask. Don't go outside of the house. Meanwhile, this guy's sitting over there at Benihana's having a great fucking time. But the teams that gave us football, it wasn't I know we like to praise Greg Sankey in this. Look, I hate Greg Sankey for a lot of things, expansion of the NCAA tournament, but he did kind of get the SEC rolling for D1, but the FCS, it was McNeese and Tarleton. They gave us the first game of the season during COVID when Cody Orgeron, remember Ed Orgeron was there? He wasn't wearing a mask.
He's the last dude to ever wear a mask.
Apparently, he doesn't wear any kind of protection.
Yeah, that's true. His son Cody Orgeron, I think, led McNeese to a victory in like double overtime or something. I don't remember. But this It's happening again, folks. McNeese at Tarleton State, Tarleton, Texas.
I believe the actual location is Stephenville, Texas. I don't know if Tarleton, Texas is a place, but fuck it. They're Tarleton State. They play in Tarleton.
I'm calling it. It's Tarleton Stadium. I'm calling it Tarleton, Texas. You sandbagging son of a gun. Anyway, McNeese was 1-10 last season, but Gary Goff, former Valdosta State head coach, did a lot of winning there. Mike Leach's old alma mater. Well, you know what he did? He brought in 57 new players. Everyone's giving Dion shit. This guy brought in 57 new players, right? Get this, 20 of them were FBS transfers.
Wait, isn't an FCS roster only like 65?
I think so. I brought in 57 of 65 new. I think you're right. I think it is 65.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Sheesh.
So, but here it wasn't just Joe Schmoes though. He brought in, if you watched the FCS National Championship game a year ago, you saw Montana. Well, Montana's starting quarterback was Clifton McDowell. We got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick. He transfers to McNeese. And there might have been this Miami running back that had flashes named Trevante Citizen.
Oh, yeah.
They go get him. They brought in Curtis DeVille, wideout from Purdue. They loaded up on the D line, going to Auburn and bringing in Steven Johnson. Tulane for A.J. Thomas. Connor McKnight from UAB. They already had an all-conference linebacker in Micah Davey, and they added Tristan Driggers from ULM. I mean, they went heavy. They went after this. That Will Wade money, strong-ass offer money. But in the meantime, Tarleton State sitting over there been waiting for this opportunity. Todd Whitten, former New England Patriot, preseason number 19. All right. They averaged 33.3 points a game a season ago. They were top 10. They were a top 10 offensive team in the FCS. Quarterback Victor Gabalis is back. 2,000-yard running backs from a season ago, and Kevon Britton and Darrell Kelly the third are back.
What was that?
Darius
Kevin Mack and Ernest Biner?
Yeah, that exactly. Thunder and lightning. Wide receiver Darius Cooper is back, and 5 of the top 8 tacklers on the defense is back. And let me tell you, this is a brand new stadium too. I mean, they're playing at a legendary stadium, but they redid the fucking thing because they're trying to go FBS. This place is going to be a little lit. Tarleton's lay at 18. I couldn't find the over-under on this, so it's off the board right now. But this is a hard game to cap because McNeese was 1-10, and their one win was on a disqualification.
Yeah, ESPN has them 0-10 overall, but 1-6 in conference. Figure that.
And we should mention that 9 of the 10 losses were by double digits.
Yeah.
But that's no one on that team is on the team though.
I like what McNeese is doing, basketball and football. I seriously, I think they mean business. They want to be good at sports, and it's going to get there, but it's going to take time. You can turn around a basketball team a lot more quickly than a football team. I don't care if you're bringing in people from Auburn or wherever else. I think Tarleton is the class in this game right now. I will lay the points. You mentioned the quarterback Victor Gabalis. Well, he threw for 344 and 3 touchdowns against McNeese at McNeese last year. He's going to have a big game. I think Tarleton wins this going away.
Well, here's the question. We mentioned that Tarleton is going in the right direction. They're building, certainly moving fast, trying to get to that FBS level, if that really is their destination. But McNeese bottomed out, it seemed like last year, 0-10 really on the field. Can they get any worse? And I don't know if Vegas just phoned it in, but the game was 18-point difference last year. Granted, that was in Louisiana. So, maybe Tarleton has a slight, gets a few more points at home for that one. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's not such a guarantee. Maybe McNeese is going to improve. They certainly can't be any worse than last year. Their starting quarterback, Nate Giantz, 49% on the year, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, only 861 yards. And their leading rusher had less than 500.
But they brought in Clifton McDowell, who went to the FCS National Championship.
Yeah, I think, that's what I'm saying. McNeese is bound to improve a little bit from last year. And so if Tarleton was only able, with an 8-3 season last year, and look, Tarleton lost 2 of those games in one by 1 point and 1 in overtime, 2 of those 3 games. Their only big loss was against Texas Tech on the road, which they got stomped in, obviously. But other than that, they were that close to being undefeated. Granted, they had a couple close wins too, but still, I think I don't know. I'm gonna go the opposite direction here. I'm going McNeese.
I think I'm going to take the points too. I just feel like that roster is way more talented than a year ago. Moneyline Mac, shout out to Moneyline Mac in the chat. Will Wade versus Billy Gillespie. That's right. College basketball experience right around the corner, folks. Moneyline Mac killing it with all these off-season interviews. So shout out to Jake as well. That's, just Kuwait in the transfer portal. There we go. I'm taking the 18. I think that it's game 1, NC Nick. You know what I mean? Like, I understand they return a lot and they're excited about their future. Both these schools with, it seems to be going all in on football and basketball, which is fantastic. I just think it's game 1. You're going to have a little rust. There's no preseason in college football. So it's like, give me the 18. Clifton McDowell.
Right.
He's like a 7th-year quarterback too.
All right, I guess it's backwards hat against frontwards hat.
Oh, there we go. Folks, before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by good old Rhythm. Yes. Have you ever, wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? All right. Some drunk fuck listening to this thinking about Kathy Ireland. All right. No. SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props, whatever. All right. Build your own model. Copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard or press build a model built for you. And Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has just a slew of stats, research, and trends and analysis to give you more insights on betting. All right. So simplify. I can't read your betting process with college football kickoff this Saturday, folks. I've been using Rhythm for golf and everything, WNBA all summer. And I just built my model so I can actually know what to bet on. And some of the random games happen in week 0 here. And I've never been more excited to watch Delaware State Hornet football in all my life, thanks to Rhythm. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. The killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. And it's not just MLB tickets, folks. I mean, it's great to go out to an MLB game. We're getting closer to the World Series, but it's college football week 0. Go out to a game. All right. You're in Texas. Get out to Tarleton Memorial Stadium. All right. Go out there. You're on the island. What you going to do? Have another Mai Tai? Try to have sex with a stranger? No, you want to get out. You want to get out there. All right. Go to the game. Go to the Ching Complex. That's where you meet your next wife. All right. So get on over there. All right. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create that account, redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we are back, and so are the games. Next, we're heading to Albuquerque, New Mexico, or Montana State. What in the hell is going on here in Albuquerque? Love the chat. Michael Brock. I love this. Love this. The Saudi holes. It's a good one. Can't bet the New Mexico game? Get on over to youtube.com/the college experience. Montana State, though, the Bobcats, preseason number 5, I think, in the FCS. Tommy Millott, I feel like he's been in college since fucking Ronnie Lott. He's their quarterback. Can he take them into Albuquerque University Stadium there for and ruin Bronco Mendenhall's first game? This was a 4.5-point spread when I was out in Vegas for Mountain West Media Days. It's now 11.5. Montana State, this is the largest FCS spread as far as an FCS team being favored in like fucking 20 years. I read the stat earlier. I forget what team. I think it was like an Idaho game. But I mean, the over-under's at 54.5. I'm just a little puzzled by this one. How does it jump that high? Especially when we get news that, the preseason All-American center and all Big Sky center a year ago is out. Their starting running back, Julius Davis for Montana State, is out. Now they do have 4 starters back on the O-line. And like I said, Tommy Malotte's been quarterback for about 40 years. They're counting on Scottree Humphrey to be the man at the running back spot, filling in for Julius Davis. But shit, you're without 2 good starters on the offensive side of the ball. And I think a lot of people are looking at Bronco Mendenhall's first year at Virginia. And Mike London, they didn't run offense at Virginia with Mike London, right? Mendenhall followed that, and he went to the Robert and Jason Beck air raid offense, which is a wrinkle of Mike Leach's stuff, kind of a hybrid of it. And then
that was a wild offense.
Yeah. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they went from like a 4-3 to the 3-3-5. So yeah, they lost to Richmond by 17 in his first game coaching at UVA. And FCS beat him by 17 points. And I think might be some overreaction with that, because when I look at New Mexico, they fired Danny Gonzalez, who played safety. Not only did he coach at New Mexico, but he played safety at New Mexico under Rocky Long and Bronco Mendenhall. Guess what? Bronco Mendenhall is a disciple of Rocky Long. So they're going to be running the same exact defense as a year ago. And yes, it's true. A bunch of players left in the portal, but they got 6 starters back on defense, only 3 on offense. Jason Beck comes from UVA/Syracuse back to Bronco Mendenhall because Anai's still at NC State. The offense, I mean, Eli Sanders, a transfer running back, comes in from Iowa State. They got him and Andrew Henry. I think it's going to be a nice punch. The receivers, Luke Weissung, Caleb Medford, Ryan Davis, pretty decent. Devin Dampier at the quarterback spot was I think he's a mobile quarterback, kind of Brennan Armstrong-like. I'm not falling for this shit. I think the defense is going to be ahead of it. I lean towards the under in this game. Give me New Mexico in the points. And I say sprinkle some on the money line. I say sprinkle some on the goddamn money line, because I think he's walking into a better situation. I get it. Virginia's players were better, probably like from a recruiting standpoint, but at least they're familiar with what he wants to do defensively. And even a little bit offensively, I feel like
that Devin Dampier, assuming he's going to be the starter, 5.6 yards per rush, 328 yards. Bronco Mendenhall, I'm forgetting the UVA quarterback they had who eventually went to the Rams.
Benkert?
No, not Benkert. Drawing a blank on his name, but he was fantastic in that offense. And obviously ended up
Keaton Thompson.
No, nope,
Keaton Thompson.
Keaton Thompson did play well. I mean, he was that was the great thing about that offense, is they found guys that had unique skill sets and found ways to use them and take advantage of their skill set. And he did that. He had like 5 or 6 guys on that UVA team, and that's how they were able to improve, because the talent wasn't that great. UVA hadn't been recruiting very well, and that not a blade of grass mantra that is a part of Bronco Mendenhall's defense, and then a creative offense. It took some time though, so I do think that is a concern. Montana State just a couple years removed from an FCS national championship runner-up spot, but they have been regressing over the past basically 3 years to the point where they're 8-4 last year. Granted, it's still a pretty darn good team, but I do think that maybe this game is. If it was a couple years ago, I would say Montana State easily covers 11.5. But right now, I think their program's going in opposite directions, and New Mexico might be able to cover this. I don't have a great feel on this one.
I think it's an overreaction. I think Mendenhall in this defense might be a little bit better than what people think.
A couple things. So Dampier was named the starter a couple days ago. I saw that, the depth chart was released, and I agree. I think he fits the mold of what Mendenhall and Beck want out of a dual threat quarterback. I think he could be dangerous with his legs and potentially through the air. And it's not really fair to compare his first year at Virginia to now, because there's this thing called the transfer portal, which it means a lot. And yes, a lot of New Mexico players from last year transferred out, which wasn't the case at UVA back in the day. But he also hit the portal hard, bringing players in. For example, at the offensive line, 7 New Mexico Lobos transferred out, but he brought in 9 guys. So it's tough to tell. It's tough to look at that roster and to make much sense out of it. I don't think New Mexico is going to be very good this year, but I do think they're going to be good enough at home to cover this spread, even against a team like Montana State, who's averaged 10.5 wins over the last 3 seasons. Like Colby said, they're a preseason top 5 team. They're a good team, but Colby mentioned a couple of injuries. What you didn't mention is that they had 3 offensive linemen and a defensive lineman transfer to FBS schools. Big time FBS schools like Baylor, Cal, and Washington. So they're a little bit depleted from last year due to those transfers, due to those injuries. Home dog in week 0. Yes, sign me up.
Let's go.
Let me say though. When we're talking about Montana State, we're talking about a team that plays an incredibly hard FCS schedule. I mean, their losses were a 4-point loss at South Dakota State last year. By the way, the Beef Bowl, I was not familiar with that, but that is an amazing name for a regular season game. So a 3-point loss at Idaho. Kibbe Dome, not a easy place to play either. They did get rocked at Montana on the road, and then they only lost to North Dakota State by 1 in overtime in the playoffs. So a lot of really close losses aside from that Montana game, and a lot of big wins. Bryce Perkins, by the way, was the UVA quarterback I was thinking of.
That's right.
He did run a lot of quarterback power with. So Bronco Mendenhall not afraid to take use the resources.
He did it with Taysom Hill, dude. Remember he got Mac Brown fired. Bronco Mendenhall did a quarterback power to Taysom Hill about 75 times and beat the shit out of Texas when they came to LaVell Edwards Stadium. So we're all on New Mexico?
Sure. I don't feel amazing, but I guess so, yeah.
And like you, Colby, I also like the under. I think if you're favoring New Mexico, you probably like an under. I think it's a close game. I think ultimately Montana State does win. I think I feel a little bit better about a Georgia Tech money line compared to the New Mexico money line. But again, not a crazy play for a double-digit dog.
All right. Yeah, I lean under and give me the points all day here. And I don't think I might sprinkle that money line. What are we doing? There's only 8 games. I'm taking the money line. Let's go. Let's jump to the next one chronologically, and that is a game there at the Crampton Bowl. All right, a legendary stadium, been around for over 100 years there. Montgomery, Alabama. For more on that, check out the Stadium Heads podcast. Southeast Missouri. Look, this is a team that's been to the FCS playoffs a good amount over the past decade. But last season was a 4-7 season with a ton of close losses. And then you have North Alabama. This is a team that was D2 not long ago. And this is the team I was going to say that's kind of like Tarleton. They just announced they're spending a shit ton of money to have an on-campus stadium they're going to build. They haven't had an on-campus stadium. They were a powerhouse in the D2 not long ago. They have aspirations of getting up there to the FBS. This game, I would assume North Alabama's got the crowd, even though it's not on campus. This is, like I said, Montgomery, Alabama. But SEMO, like I said, 4-7, but like I said, you don't have to look that far back to them making FCS playoff spots. And 4 losses by 1 possession a season ago. Paxton DeLaurent back at the quarterback spot. They have one of the better offensive linemen in their conference, and Zach Gregg, and some studs on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker Bryce Norman, cornerback Jodrick Lewis, all conference guys. So watch out for SEMO. But on the other end, North Alabama 3-8 last season, but one of their 3 wins was against an FCS playoff team in Chattanooga. And man, you want to talk about close losses? They had a lot of close losses as well. And I actually watched. If you watched week 0 a year ago, we watched North Alabama. They had terrible quarterback play. Dearman, their coach, is I think getting this team on track. And one of the things I like is he went out and brought in Stanford quarterback Ari Patu, who played some at Stanford. Also, DC Tabscott, a quarterback from New Mexico a season ago. And they brought in 13 FBS transfers. They got 18 starters back, 7 on offense, 8 on defense, and 3 on special teams. This Takari Kennebrew guy at the wideout spot's a stud. I mean, what are we doing here? Because I was surprised at this line. I thought it'd be shorter. SEMO's laying 10.5. I think North Alabama will have the crowd, as Real Money Kramer says. They keep a real lion on campus as their mascot. He's actually there on campus.
Pretty badass.
I'm going to take the points, and I think we have another live dog potentially in North Alabama there. I'm definitely taking the points. Game one, I get it. SEMO's been the way better program historically. Well, in the FCS, because North Alabama wasn't in the FCS. But give me the points. North Alabama's going to give him a game. Shout out to GBO Farms, who's giving us $20. Let's fucking go. I'm excited. He's got Patty C winning the Heisman. Let's go. Shout out to GBO. Happy season, brother.
Charles Woodson had nothing on Patty C. If Patty
right.
C was given that chance at JMU, he might have been invited to New York City.
Yeah, Charles Woodson put a rose in his mouth. Patty C put a burrito. I mean, come on.
Right.
What's
much more
there?
delicious? Let's be honest.
Let's not talk about what else Patty C might have put in his mouth.
Oh boy,
buddy,
untold things.
Well, I don't get. I got brain man comb.
I'm on the point. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Montgomery?
I think you swayed me. Originally, I was thinking about laying the number just because SEMO has been that much better lately. I mean, it was only 2 years ago that they were up 24-3 against Montana in the first round of the FCS playoffs before the Grizzlies came back to win that. So, no, but I mean, what they bring back and the talent they have coming in, I think you swayed me on North Alabama. And, my mantra for FCS football has always been when in doubt, take the points. I didn't do that in the Tarleton game. I will do that here. Give me the lines.
I like it. And I'm going to lean towards the under also. First game jitters, neutral site. You know what I mean? Give me that under 58.5.
Sure.
Patty C, what are you doing here in Montgomery, Alabama? This game's on ABC, by the way.
Okay. Damn. Hey, I mean, what is it? FCS kickoff last year for North Alabama in the Mercer against Mercer. Is this a tradition? Do they have the right to open the college football season every year? If so,
no,
Northern
they
Alabama
want to.
Yeah, well, they have so far done it twice. I don't know if we're going chronologically by kickoff, but pretty close here to opening the season. North Alabama, they do want it. That says they do want it. I want to say, though, that as much as they want it, Southeast Missouri, like you mentioned, had a bunch of close losses. 1 point loss to Southern Illinois, 3 point loss to Eastern Kentucky, 5 point loss at Central Arkansas, et cetera, et cetera. 1 point loss against Robert Morris. They were a better team than their 4-7 record indicates. Meanwhile, North Alabama had a couple close wins that they
beat Chattanooga. They beat Chattanooga, the FCS playoff team.
That's true. They escaped Utah Tech, or I guess Dixie State, as it were, by 1 point. I don't know. I just think 10.5. SEMO seems like a much better program, but I would be lying if I said I watched these two teams super closely last year. So
Patty C taking SEMO minus the 10.5. Shout out to Roger Long saying, "What's up, Dundee? Long time no talk, no see. We come back for football season. There we go. Appreciate you, Roger."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I lean under too. Just the jitters. Last season's game against Mercer in the opener was a defensive struggle. Turnovers left and right. And I agree with Ryan. Playing week 0 is super smart. You get a lot of eyes on your program. You can see the ones that really want to take their program to the next level. All right, let's jump to the next game. These are all chronologically, by the way, to answer your question, Patty C. Yes, this is chronologically. And next we go to kick it off at the same exact time. Norfolk State, Center Park Stadium, where Terry Pendleton used to hit dingers, taking on Florida A&M. And I do appreciate there's no dome games week 0. Thank you, college football. Florida A&M, the Rattlers, fresh off a Black National Championship there. Won the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta at that filthy Mercedes-Benz bullshit, right?
the term Black National Championship
that's what they call it.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah,
that's fucking badass.
That's what they call it. What do you think I'm doing over here? Just making up shit? You know what I mean?
would have said HBCU National Championship, but Black National Championship is much more badass.
Well, the article I read said that.
Well, HBCU, the B stands for black. So what's the big deal? Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, cool.
Anyway, let's talk about how fire Florida A&M's logo is. I think it's fire right there. The Rattlers are fresh off a national championship, but Jeremy Mosa is gone. The Vanderbilt transfer, their star quarterback, he's gone. And guess what? Their head coach, Willie Simmons, former Clemson quarterback, took a position on Duke's offensive staff. All right.
No.
Some of that money NC Nick contributed to the NIL collective.
You know it.
But Norfolk State at the same time has been kind of shitty lately. Odom is a proven winner. He was a 2013 SWAC Coach of the Year. He went 63-32 at Southern with the Jaguars there. And he had a winning season his first season at Norfolk State, but he's had 2 straight losing seasons. This is year 4. Can he get it done? Problem is, his star quarterback, Otto Coons, suspended for 4 games. They're going to be counting on JUCO transfer quarterback Jalen Daniels. Holy shit, we got multiple Jalen Daniels. I think it's a tall order for a backup quarterback I've never seen to just take on Florida A&M, who's breaking in James Colsey, the 3rd new head coach, played at Florida State in the 90s with Bobby Bowden.
First ever game as a head coach at the collegiate level.
He coached on Florida State staff. He named, and look, they went out and they brought in 30 FBS transfers, led by quarterback Daniel Richardson. You might remember him from Action Tuesdays and Wednesdays as Central Michigan's quarterback. Last season, he was at Florida Atlantic. Didn't really get it done. Now he transfers over to Florida A&M, named the starting quarterback a couple days ago. They got Kelvin Dean at the running back spot, Jamari Gassett at the receiver spot, and they're loaded up again. This is one where I will stay chalk. Now, I'll be honest. My good people that were hooking me up with these FCS numbers like a week ago, I was ready to take the points if Otto Coons was playing, but now backup quarterback is transferred in, JUCO transfer. I can't do this. Give me Florida A&M minus the points there at Center Park Stadium. I also will take the over here. I don't know though, backup quarterback, but I feel like Florida A&M can get to high 30s, early 40s. Can Norfolk State get a score or 2? They will late. Give me the over. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Atlanta?
Look, we're all Virginia guys, and you're asking me to fade the 757, one of the best zip codes in America for collegiate talent. No way in hell. I'm going Norfolk State here. I don't know a James Colsey from Patty C's teammate at JMU. Okay, so I'm going to fade the first game as a head coach. I'm going to ride Norfolk State. Give me the points, and I also like the over.
I like this overplay because everyone's going to be on the under. Thinking that backup quarterback, Jalen Daniels, though. Some say he's the real Jalen Daniels. Patty C, what are you doing here in Atlanta?
Look, in Florida A&M, this is just as deep as I want to go with it. They are a juggernaut program, 12-1 last year. I will say North Dakota State, despite the 3-8 record, had 4 one-score losses. So, had those gone the other way, 0-4 in those games, mind you. So maybe had the 50-50 games gone their way, they would look a lot better. But still, Florida A&M has been a powerhouse, and I don't expect that to stop. 17.5 is a lot of points. Atlanta, I don't know that that's an advantage for one school or another.
I think Florida A&M will have the crowd.
If Florida A&M is in Tallahassee, correct?
No, I'm saying yes, they are in Tallahassee, but I'm saying this game's in Atlanta. I think they're going to have the crowd. Yeah.
Northern Florida, Tallahassee seems like a short enough drive up to Atlanta where they'll probably have a lot. Granted, Norfolk State, Virginia, what is that, probably 8-10 hours. It's a further drive. Yeah, they'll probably have the crowd.
But they've been ass lately. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's more incentive to go. When you won one game, Florida A&M's coming off a national championship. They're going to have that fucking place.
Yeah. Now, Florida A&M, am I messing up my conferences? Who's MEAC and who's SWAC? Are they both MEAC?
Norfolk State is MEAC. Florida A&M is SWAC.
SWAC. Well, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, the SWAC has been the dominant conference. So they probably, even with that record, have gone through a harder
I actually think the MEAC actually has owned them when they've met.
Really?
Yeah. North Carolina Central, stand up. North Carolina A&T, stand up. All right. So historically, when they do battle, I think the MEAC, and Terrell Furman will tell you this, MEAC kind of normally fucks up the SWAC, but
that's why you take the 17.5.
That's what you're doing. You're riding with your
represent.
All right. NC Nick going with the MEAC here. All right. Next up, we're going to Reno, Nevada, where my pal Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour, will be. Check out the Stadium Heads podcast for more on that. The SMU Mustangs. I mean, I just got so much to say right now regarding this program. First,
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of it's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words? I hear there's rumors on the internets. I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Wait, I think I have one more here somewhere here, but either way, George W.
Dan Marino and his really dynamic wife.
There is speculation that Dan Marino and his dynamic wife will be at this game at McKay Stadium there.
But Dan Marino, ACC legend, watching SMU, the ACC team, it makes sense.
He got a bid. George W. Did he go to SMU? No. Was he making phone calls on about SMU on behalf of SMU? Yes. Saudi Arabia Tech is SMU. And they got in the ACC and they put a shit ton of money. They raised $160 million. What was it? I know that the article originally said 3 months, but then it turns out that they raised 130 of the 160 million in 7 days. Good God. I can't even find $20 for a haircut over here. and they're doing that.
That's
it's a good
oil
thing
money
GBO
right there.
Farms donated that $19.99.
Thank you,
Finally,
GBO.
Colby can get a haircut.
It's a Great Clips appointment tomorrow happening right after this episode.
Also, shout out to Papa Camas. That's Alan Cooley in the chat.
Legend.
Man,
Legend.
we got 2 Tennessee fans in the chat. Damn.
Oh man.
Hey, it could be their year. Could be their year. More on that after this. Guys, SMU's laying 25 points at Nevada. It's Jeff Choate, the new head coach of Nevada. Preston Stone. First off, SMU says they're going to play both. Rhett Lashley said they're going to play both Preston Stone and Kevin Jennings. So both quarterbacks going to play. Now, we did hear news that Kamar Wheaton, one of their running backs, that's a stud, out for the season. But don't worry. They have Jalen Knighton, Brashard Smith, and LJ Johnson, the A&M transfer. They're pretty loaded. They also have really good wide receivers like Jordan Hudson, Jake Bailey, Romeo Brandon, and they have Russell Maryland's son at the tight end spot, RJ Maryland. They bring 8 starters back on offense, 7 starters back on defense, led by Elijah Roberts on the D line. That was all AAC a season ago. And Nevada, they were going to start Chuba Purdy, Brock's brother, and he's injured, but they're going with Brendan Lewis, one of the guys Dion told to get the fuck off of campus. They brought in running back Patrick Garrow from Boston College. They also brought in a couple Texas Longhorn running backs. And they also brought in Cortez Graham at the wide receiver spot. I got to interview him in Vegas. He came over from West Virginia. They bring back 3 on the O-line, 6 starters on offense, 6 starters on defense. The only problem is Nevada was complete horseshit a season ago. 25 points. I will lay it and give me the over because I think SMU is scoring in the high 40s to early 50s by themselves. I will say this, though. Nevada will get some points because Brendan Lewis, although not a great quarterback, he has started a shit ton of college football games. And that's why I don't think they're going to be shut out or anything. They're going to get some points.
He sucks.
I'm on the over. I think
He's
the over
really bad.
He does suck, but the over is going to cash. The over is going to cash. I actually like that even better than the SMU minus 25. But I don't know. Both are. I feel good about both. NC Nick, what are you doing here in Reno?
I agree with a lot of what you said here. I think SMU is looking to make a splash in their first game as a P4, team. They're in the ACC now. They finally got the invitation, even if it meant not accepting any money from the conference. But this is a game where I think they're looking to really run it up. I agree. I think they could be in the 50s themselves. So I definitely like the over. Also, if you look at Nevada, the one thing, they didn't do anything good last year. The one thing they were really bad at was stopping the pass. They were 115th in the nation, and they lose 3 out of their 4 starting DBs. So I think SMU just puts it on them. I don't care who's playing quarterback, whether it's Prestone or Jennings. I think both of them are very capable.
But that matters for DFS. That does matter for DFS.
It does. They got a bunch of capable pass catchers. They're loaded at running back. Offensively, they're ready to open up a can here. And unfortunately, the Wolfpack under Jeff Choate's first game, they're going to be the recipient of that. I will also lay the big number and go with the over.
Patty C, what are you doing here in Reno? Biggest little city in the world.
Let me ask you, which of these teams on SMU's schedule last year are a similar caliber to Nevada this year, presumably? And I'll give you teams that are in that ballpark. Louisiana Tech, Prairie View, Charlotte, ECU, sorry, Colby, Temple,
You're
Tulsa, Rice.
No, La Tech's that answer.
La Tech. Okay.
But I think La Tech would have beat Nevada last year. I think Nevada's
would have been a game. Would have been a game. Yeah.
La Tech or SMU beat La Tech by 24 at home last year. I don't know if there's going to be. I think week 1 maybe there is a home field advantage for Nevada just on the fact that they haven't ruined their season yet. There's excitement just because they have the whole offseason here. I think it's going to be a tough environment. Nevada did lose 4 games by 25 points or more last year. SMU did win 4 games by 25 points or more last year. But overall, while SMU had some gaudy blowouts and Nevada had some terrible losses, I'm leaning Nevada here to cover this. I think
there we go.
Yeah.
Look, everyone's on SMU. Patty C loading up on the Wolfpack and Brendan Lewis, his boy. Shout out to Ken Hatt there. Longtime listener there. Appreciate you tuning in. He says he's got SMU first half. That's an interesting angle. I like that angle.
I haven't seen that line yet, but maybe it'll come out a little bit closer to kick.
Next we go to Caldwell, Idaho. NC Nick, you know where Caldwell, Idaho is?
Yeah, just outside of Boise. It's kind of like a suburb of Boise.
By the way, can we scoot back one for 1 second?
Yes.
I think you hammer the over on 56.5.
Yes.
We all agree with that.
Yeah. We have a game on YouTube. All right. You guys know the story about Lincoln University in Oakland, California? Let me tell you.
No, I actually looked. I thought it was in Lincoln, California, which is outside of Sacramento, but apparently I'm wrong.
No, they're the Oaklanders for a reason. All right.
That would make sense.
And let me tell you, Desmond Gums, their head coach, he's 3-28 in 3 years, but that's because they just started their program and they don't even have a home stadium, football or basketball. They just play on the road the entire season. 12 games last season too. We don't need your FCS 11 bullshit. We're going 12.
Road Warriors.
They did play College of Idaho a season ago, the Yotes in Caldwell, Idaho. And look, let me tell you, that game was tied. It was 0-0 after the first. But you don't just walk into Simplot Stadium, which has been around since 1964, and grab a dub. Because let me tell you, Andy Peters threw for 214 yards after the first quarter, 2 touchdowns. And the Yotes won 37-7 against the Oaklanders. This year, the spread's at 28. The over-under's at 43. And the Oaklanders they want revenge. They want revenge. And if you saw, the Oaklanders, TJ Goodwin not only led the team in rushing a season ago in that game, but also for the season. They had 1 win year 1, 2 wins in year 2, 0 wins last year. That's because it's easy to see a tide turn. It's all about year 4. And last season, he threw for 247, a touchdown, but 2 critical picks. One of them being a pick 6 against the Yotes.
This whole preview is cracking me up just because you prefaced it with "if you saw," and no one in America saw this game. I don't know that there was anyone at this game.
There was 3,000 people at this game, buddy.
Snap!
You forget in Idaho, it's a fun time. All right,
that's like a third of the Idaho population right there.
And let me tell you, Andy Peters is back for a senior season. Simplot Stadium will be rocking yet again, Patty C. Now, they did lose their top 5 pass catchers from a season ago, and they're starting running back, but don't worry. Caden Cobb is ready to step into the running back spot, and wide receiver Jackson Courtlever, who was all Frontier academic team, is their top returning receiver. The Yotes are going to, I'm sorry, Lincoln. but Gary Payton quit your program, and he said that he hadn't been paid for lunches. He'd been paying for his own goddamn lunch. All right. I like what Lincoln's doing. It's very heavy metal of them. All right. And I dig what they're doing. Right. They're just hitting the road, eating whatever. Who's paying for it? Who knows? Right? And the Yotes, meanwhile, have put together a solid program. And with 3,000 people there, I think it's an advantage. I will lay the 28. Give me a 42-10 final, almost like that Bronco Redskins Super Bowl. NC Nick, what are you doing in Caldwell?
Well, I just want Utah to play the College of Idaho so we can have the Utes versus the Yotes. That would be my dream matchup. Also, yote is also a verb. It means to throw with force or to lob, which sounds kind of like the opposite of each other.
No, it sounds like you're talking about Andy Peters' arm.
That's what I'm getting at. I think they are going to have a lot of lob passes for touchdowns, and they're going to throw with force as well. And they're gonna put it to that high school, Lincoln High over here. Give me the College of Idaho. I'll always go Idaho over California.
God bless week zero.
I don't get
Patty C, you're gonna be at the studio Saturday because this is definitely on the TV. So buckle up, buddy.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Look, I just think it's going to be a tough year for Lincolns in the state of California. Actually, I don't. I think USC is going to have a pretty good year. But I am all over the Yotes. That is a phenomenal mascot. And if they whoop their ass on the road, this game was in Caldwell.
It's always on the road. Lincoln,
yeah, sure.
It's always on the road with Lincoln. All right.
They can't even get like a local high school to.
No one's using the Oakland Coliseum.
They are a local high school, Patty.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
They should just play a game in the middle of the A's game and no one would notice.
Yeah.
Just go take over the field and there's no security at Oakland Coliseum, right? Just play a game in the middle of the fucking game. Over's going to cash.
I'm on the Yotes.
Yeah. That over's going to cash.
43. The Yotes are going to get that themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think 42-10. 42-10. Final game of the evening. Delaware State Hornets. Have you heard this story? They missed their flight. They were supposed to take a bus to JFK. They were supposed to take a flight to a bus to JFK, and then they missed that. The bus didn't show up.
All right.
Now they're on two different airplanes to Hawaii. They were supposed to have a couple days to check out Waikiki. Now they're checking out the fucking LAX coffee bean. You know what I mean? Delaware State is catching this, and this went up because of those travel plans. This was at 38. I actually see a 40.5 right now, but when I made the slide, it was 40. The Rainbow Warriors were supposed to play Oregon, and those filthy pieces of shit said that's too rigorous of travel. Even though they're joining the goddamn Big Ten, you losers. All right. You know what though? I buy in to Timmy Chang being a nice guy. And look, I know. First off, Stephen McBride's suspended for this game. Their star wideout, and then they're returning 15 starters. I know, like we're high on Hawaii here. Dan Morrison, new OC. They bring in, they got Braden Shager-Bombs at the quarterback spot. They bring in another Boston College running back transfer in Cam Barfield. Dylan Hines still there at the wide receiver spot. Dennis Thurman, a new DC coming over from the Rex Ryan regime. And I think Hawaii is going to be a bowl team. But I think you telling me they're not feeling a little sorry for Delaware State. And also, I think Delaware State might be improved. Lee Hull is in year 2 of his tenure there. He played at Holy Cross. He also played in the CFL. He was a good coach at Morgan State. He came over to Delaware State last season, went 1-10. But guess what? This quarterback, Markai Adams, is back. He threw 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, but did throw for over 300 against the real Blue Devils of Central Connecticut State. Marquise Gillis is back at the running back spot. They went out in the portal. They got Jordan Jakes from UNLV. Oh, they played in the Mountain West Championship. They brought in a big-time linebacker transfer, Aaron Willis from the Houston Cougars, as well as Brian Bates from Biff Poggi in Charlotte. And I think that's enough. Give me the 40 points. But the over is certainly cashing in this game. The over is certainly cashing in this game. Let's go. NC Nick, what are you doing here on the island?
I mean, I'm not going to lay 40 points too often, especially if you're going against the Delaware State Hornets. I mean, that logo is fire. The problem is, I mean, if you look at Delaware State last year against FBS opponents, they lost to Army 57-0.
Hard to prepare for the triple. For the triple.
They lost to Miami of Ohio 62-20. So they wouldn't have covered those two games. But
Miami of Ohio won the MAC.
If you look at Hawaii, I mean, Hawaii's biggest win of their season last year was just 14 points. Their FCS opponent, which isn't really fair because Albany was a lot better than Delaware State, but they only won 31-20. I am going to take the points. I do like Marquis Adams, the quarterback for Delaware State, and it's just too many. I think you're right. I think Timmy Chang is not just going to blow them out and run it up and rub it in their face.
Timmy Chang coached at Jackson State.
Yeah.
He's coached at Hawaii where all these things are against you. You know what I mean? He knows.
But I'm going to go with the under. I think the score is like a 42-7 or something.
Okay.
Well, Hawaii's like high scoring game last year, if I'm looking at it correctly, was what, 31 points? So, I mean, granted, they played a much higher level of competition last year than Delaware State is. But yeah, their high game output last year for points was 31. So it would be a major step in the right direction. You can probably bet on a shutout though, or at least maybe holding Delaware State to 7. So maybe they get it done with a 49-7 win here. That's probably what you should expect. You would expect Timmy Chang's offense to be generating more points than that, you know, based on his background there. But maybe year 3, Shager Bombs, they want to make a big statement. Delaware State having their travel issues. They're probably demoralized and humiliated already. And Hawaii is going to take full advantage of that on the cross-continental road trip. But
well, wait, stop right there because
apparently
very hard ticket for Delaware State.
I am tempted to lay it, even though the math says don't lay it, you know, based on last year's numbers. I think this is just a different level of competition, and Hawaii's going to smoke them.
Well, Patty C laying the 40. Do you like the over or under, Patty C?
I like the under, actually. It's right there. You know, what did I say, 49-7? That would put me at 56, so slightly under.
Wow. I like it.
Wow. There we go. Guys, that's the slate. All right. It's not amazing, but do we have a lock you want to give away? For me, I'm going to lock up SMU minus the points because I think I think it's a show. I think they're bringing everybody out. All right. You're just going to have everybody there. So I think that's the play. SMU minus the points. This is their first game in a major conference. They're going to make a statement.
It's on the road. They're not going to have everyone there.
No,
they raised $130 million in fucking 7 days.
Yeah,
dude.
a lot of private jets landing in Reno. a lot of oil money.
Yeah, I didn't know SMU was notorious for their traveling fan base. They are notorious for their well-endowed boosters. That sounds weird, but
that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to that. I think they're going to that game because first year in the major conference, first game. I think they wanted week 0 on purpose. This was a late scheduled game. I think they wanted this on purpose to let people know that we are fucking here.
That's right. Hey. I like the play, but my lock I think will be Georgia Tech in the points.
Oh, there we go. Patty C, what do you lock it up, buddy?
I think I'll go Georgia Tech too. You know, I mean, my first instinct looking at this entire slate was Montana State, you know, minus. I'm looking at 10.5, but it's moved to 11.5. That might scare me away a little bit. But, you know, upon further review, I am a little shy on that. And I think Georgia Tech. But again, I don't feel great about any of these. It's not exactly great betting advice I'm handing out there. But if I'm being honest, even Florida State could come in really mad and smoke Georgia Tech. But still, based on all the factors there and how well I actually know these teams, it does look like Georgia Tech will probably keep this game closer than 11.
All right, folks. Well, there we go. Now we transition to a 12-team playoff. Holy shit. I've only been arguing about this since pretty sure I was eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches at lunch in 3rd grade saying, hey, college football needs a playoff. Now I'm 40. I'm in my 40s.
Dreams
I don't
do
even
come
know
true.
where I don't even know where the fuck Kuwait is. You know what I mean? Life's really working out for me. All right.
Yeah, you were living through the Persian Gulf War while you were dreaming about college football. You missed that part of history. That's what happened.
It's true. That is true. And we have a 12-team playoff, guys. I thought this was a great exercise we did. We made spreadsheets. It's so cool to have a bracket, right? It's so cool to have a fucking bracket. So I'm gonna grab this.
Finally.
Yeah, I'm like the FCS could do it, the D2 could do it, D3, even NAIA, like Mike Leach said, and finally, someone created had I guess it was Jack Swarbrick, the Notre Dame athletic director, that had this idea. Notre Dame did something right, wow,
where did he come up with this crazy idea to have a playoff?
To have 12 teams and where he could have a home game almost every year. What a genius, right? No, they would never just rig it for them. Let's talk about this because we have our 12-team playoff. I'm trying to share screen right now, but my computer is incredibly slow.
By the way, your inner Notre Dame hater just came out pretty hard right there. If you're positing that Notre Dame has an unfair advantage in this format, they're the only team in college football. I don't know who else is independent still. UConn or UMass. I don't know if either. Yeah. Those are they're the only realistic team in college football that has no path to a first round bye. So I would say they
pretend that Notre Dame is an independent. It's by choice, Patty C. They can join any conference they want tomorrow.
Sure. But I don't think it's necessarily an advantage for them to be unable to get a bye.
What? A bye? I actually think a 5 seed, and this has been a new. I feel like a lot of people are talking about this. The 5 seed is actually easier than the 2, 3, or 4 seed. Maybe even the 1 seed. My computer's going to blow up though, so I don't think I can show you this.
You don't have a bucket of ice this time.
I need a bucket of ice underneath this computer, but. Guys, I have my playoff here, my top 4 seeds, and I should let me try to. God, my shit's going slow. Let's talk about this right here. Our conference winners. We all have the Georgia Bulldogs winning the SEC. We all have the Ohio State Buckeyes winning the Big Ten. But when it comes to the ACC, the All Coast Conference, look what we got going here. I got the Louisville Cardinals. NC Nick's got the Clemson Tigers. Patty C's got Saudi Arabia State. And we all have the same Big 12 champ. Are you fucking kidding me? All 3 of us have Utah winning the Big 12.
Surprising.
Yeah. For a crapshoot, for all of us to come out with the same team suggests it's not quite the crapshoot we've been making it out to be.
And then the group of 5, I have the East Carolina Pirates, which is such a great value play. If you haven't listened to our Phil Steele interview, he's on board with me. Phil
idiot. I mean, value play. Yes, sure.
Phil Steele's on board with me. ECU to the playoffs. Texas State is NC Nick's pick, and Patty C's is Boise State. Even though Malachi Nelson just got benched essentially. They're 5-star.
He was never on the field to get benched. He got beat out.
Well, they paid a lot of money for him. Is my point.
True.
They didn't have him last year. They didn't have him last year, and they were still, in position to get that spot if it existed last year. So
yeah.
And their schedule's easy as shit. So
so that's our auto bids. Those 5. All right, those 5 right there for all 3 of us. I see GBO Farms wants to take back his $20 because my playoff bracket is this. First off, so those 5, the 4 get the bye week. Utah, Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State for me. I have East Carolina making the playoffs like they normally do on a 12-team playoff.
Wait, should we lay out our seeds 1 through 12 here? All right.
I think we'll just go one person, Colby, then me, then you, and we'll just discuss it.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess my first round will look like this: East Carolina gets the auto bid. They're the 12 seed. They're playing the 5 seed Texas A&M College Station. Can you guys imagine College Station hosting a playoff game? Mike Elko,
Fun.
Texas A&M.
Yeah,
Man.
nuts.
Are you kidding me? The overalls, all those fucking weirdos just jumping up and down, right? Then, as GBO Farms is raging in the chats, Tennessee is heading to Kinnick Stadium, and he said Tennessee whooped their ass last year. But guess what? Tennessee didn't have to go into 5 degrees.
That was a bowl game, also. Yeah,
a useless bowl game, the Music City Bowl game, or something in Nashville, or whatever it was, the Outback Bowl. That means nothing to me. They got to, and I actually think that actually fuels Iowa some. Damn, what's happening to my fucking screen? Okay. If they got to go into Kinnick, I don't care if it's Tennessee. I don't care if it's Michigan. I don't care if it's LSU. You ain't going to win in Kinnick against this Kirk Ferentz team with 7-year defenders on defense. All right. No, it ain't going to happen. Give me the Hawkeyes to take down Tennessee. I do have A&M beating ECU, by the way. But can you imagine a home playoff game in Kinnick? December, what is that? December? That's like Christmas Eve or something, right?
Maybe at night.
Oh my God! It's just
That alone makes the
5
the first round of the
degrees and
playoffs awesome.
snowy. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, then how about this game? This game probably the best of. I don't know which one is the best of the 4, but LSU is my 11 seed, heading into 6 seed Oregon. Because Oregon loses the Big Ten championship to Ohio State, so they drop back, and that's where A&M, because the SEC gets the 1 seed, they're going to give the loser of the SEC championship the 5. So A&M getting the 5 seed because they didn't play in the SEC championship. I have Tennessee taking on Georgia, right? So Tennessee ups back a little bit, much like Oregon losing to Ohio State. So they give Texas A&M the 5, right? So LSU then heads to Oregon. I mean, this is a great game.
Tough.
Can you imagine Autzen Stadium? LSU, Oregon, what a fucking heater, right? I got Oregon squeaking it out, man. Like a 45-42 type of game. Squeaking this thing out.
Brian Kelly's team will be as tough as Dan Lanning's team. And do you think weather could be a factor here for the Tigers?
Weather, it's definitely going to be cold in Autzen.
Another very hard place to win at. So
Yeah.
I think I would lean towards the home team too.
And then Michigan, Notre Dame, Patty C. I feel like it's like a fucking dream of yours here.
Yeah. I mean,
I got
this
Michigan.
belong- at one of these 2 stadiums needs to be hosting the first.
No,
play.
Notre Dame. Notre Dame. I like the Notre Dame's image is better in my opinion. Yeah. The Golden Dome hosting. Jesus, what's happening here? Hosting Michigan. I have Michigan pulling the upset against Notre Dame.
Wow.
7-10 matchup, which sets up Michigan, Ohio State. People are going to be furious. It's a rematch, right? Didn't they used to say this?
Nobody's going to be
rematch.
furious. Everybody's going to be fucking
Yeah.
psyched for that game.
Then, no, are you pressing that or is that just my computer blowing up in front of me? Then, though, I got Ohio State taking down Michigan for the 2nd time in 1 year, and Ryan Day gets a lifetime contract, you know. Oh,
That
man.
will put him back in favor of the good folks of Columbus, Ohio.
Yes. So I got Oregon beating LSU. They take on Louisville, and that game is at the Rose Bowl. By the way, the Michigan-Ohio State game is in New Orleans. That's why Ohio State beats Michigan, is because the filthy dome. If it was outside, I might take Michigan. But Oregon, Louisville going in the Rose Bowl. I got the Ducks taking down Jeff Brom and the Cards. Then I got Iowa, who beat Tennessee at Kinnick, heading to, guess what, Atlanta to take on Georgia in a dome. Get the fuck out of here. I was going to lose by 70, right? Then A&M, beats ECU in a close one, very close one, right? And they head to Arizona to take on Utah. Utah's going to have that crowd.
A&M versus Utah in the Fiesta Bowl would be fucking amazing.
Utah, Kyle Whittingham takes down Elko in a wild one. These games are all fantastic. How did it take this fucking long, right? Then I got Utah, Georgia, which would be a sneaky good game, I think, because I actually think Utah could bang with them sub, right? Georgia wins, though.
Might have the finesse to, hang with them a little bit, too.
That's what I'm saying.
If Rising, stays healthy.
Whittingham's 1-0 against Saban. What's up, Kirby? Let's play, right? I got Georgia beating them though, because I think that game would be in Miami. They'd have the crowd, right? Oregon, Ohio State rematch of the Big Ten championship. This is their third time playing in one season.
Wow.
And Oregon, because they won the first one in Autzen, they lost in Indianapolis. This one here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, they squeak it out and they move along to the filthy Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where therefore Georgia plays their 17th game in that fucking stadium, right? Because they play Clemson, right? They play the
SEC
they get them
championship.
SEC championship, and the third one would be the Iowa game, and then this would be the fourth. That's so ridiculous. College football is so fucking corrupt. God damn it. Anyway, I got Oregon because Dan Lanning got embarrassed by him his first game. Got embarrassed by him. They get revenge. The Ducks upset Georgia. Georgia's gonna be a heavy favorite. Ducks get it done. Ducks are in the national championship. They're gonna float that big duck all around the fucking United States. It's gonna go around everywhere. All right.
Phil Knight can die happy.
Yeah, he's spending
not
like
wishing death on him, but it seems like he's getting close. The man looks like the crypt keeper over there.
Send that big duck right down the Potomac, right to the Capitol. All right.
Oh,
Oregon's taking over.
Yeah. If we're gonna have a new president then, and then there's gonna be a big ass duck there. But
Trump looks like a duck.
All right. All right. You want me to give mine real quick?
Yes, fire away.
There's some similarities. One thing you'll notice, and it pained me to do this because I hope it's not the case, but I'm afraid it will be. I only have one ACC team and one Big 12 team. I really think that there should be something that like every P4 conference should get at least 2 teams in or something, but that's just not the way things are in college football right now. So I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I have. So I have Texas State, the 12 seed, playing at Oregon. We know how that's going to end. Oregon's going to win that. Texas gets in, but they also play Iowa at Iowa, and much like Colby mentioned, I have Iowa winning that game. The 11 seed, Missouri, sneaks into the playoff, and they play LSU, which is not a rematch. It's a rematch from this past year when LSU won at Missouri.
That was a hell of a game.
It was, but I think that's too tall of a task to ask Missouri to win at LSU. So LSU wins that. And then I have also Ole Miss. I have 5 teams from the SEC getting in. Ole Miss sneaks in, but they do not win at Notre Dame. So all 4 home teams hold serve in the first round.
That.
Some pretty epic venues for the first round.
That's what I'm saying. All of those are fantastic. I can't believe these idiots still want to play in bowl sites. This is incredible. Like a game at Autzen, a game at Kinnick, a game at Tiger Stadium, a game at the Golden Dome would be what are they doing going to the Sugar Bowl? All that other shit sucks. Get it out of here. Hit Control Alt Delete. All right. Okay, continue on, NC Nick. Why this slide goes crazy.
Might want to hit Control Alt Delete on your computer too. Yes. Oregon versus Utah. I have Utah upsetting Oregon.
I like it.
Actually, I mean, they're the higher seed, but they probably won't be favored in the game. But this is an old Pac-12 matchup. Utah beat Oregon a couple years ago they beat USC
twice, right?
No, the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, exactly. I was
whooped
right.
Their ass actually too. It wasn't even close. Yeah.
Much like you, I have Iowa playing Georgia and losing to Georgia in the second round. I have Clemson beating LSU and advancing to what we're going to call the Final Four at the Rose Bowl. Ohio State beats Notre Dame once again. There was a lot of controversy over last year. They get it done again. And then I have Georgia, Ohio State, and Ohio State, the Buckeyes, winning it all.
Hello.
I like it.
Day finally gets over the hump.
He's buying into that Chip Kelly shit. Okay, now let's go down to Patty C here.
All right,
who's got Boise State take it. He's heading to Autzen for the second time. Does that give Boise State a better chance to pull the upset?
It does, but I just still think Oregon's so much superior of a program probably right now. Now you guys were kind of going, by order of up here, in Kramer's order: Fiesta, Peach, Rose, Sugar. I think the committee will allow the top seeds to more or less choose their location on down during the second round. So we'll get to that. But in the first round, I do expect Oregon to probably go 11-1, 12-1. maybe 11-2. I guess they're going to lose to Michigan and then I think they're going to lose to Ohio State in the conference championship game. They'll face a 11-2 or 12-1 Boise State, and they will probably whoop their ass. Now Alabama, I'll say this about my bracket. After reviewing their schedules and kind of going one by one through all the games and stuff, I took a step back and I said, hey, who is probably going to actually be there at the end of this before we get too cute about this? Alabama is probably going to be in this damn playoff. I don't care if Saban's there or not. So I did have Iowa hosting, which I think will be phenomenal. Unfortunately, they did draw a super talented Alabama team, and I think
they
Alabama
ain't winning in Kinnick.
No, dude. If Iowa beats Alabama in Kinnick, that would be the greatest development of the entire playoff.
Colby, Minnesota beat Iowa in Kinnick last year. Okay, so they're not completely unbeatable.
They needed a cockanimi play. What happened the last time Michigan or Ohio State went there? Huh?
Well, you could say that Iowa needed a miraculous punt return to win that game,
and it was a punt return, and it was a touchdown, and then they cheated.
And Kirk Ferentz planned that. Kirk Ferentz did not go for it.
He doesn't.
He played for the punt. Yeah.
Nick can't say that when it happens every time. Like if it was
let's
one
not
time,
pretend that Iowa is unbeatable at home. Okay, I beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home too.
I'll say this. I said this a couple years ago. Iowa would beat every single team, West Coast team in Kinnick on December 20th.
Like I had Iowa beating Texas at home too. So I don't know what we're arguing about, but let's just not pretend that somehow they're like just unbeatable at home.
Unbeatable at home. We all want them to.
I would say they have a
our
good
hearts
track
are
record.
getting the better of us here.
They have a pretty good. I mean, what they drop? Didn't they drop a 50 spot on Ohio State there?
They did, I believe, and
that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you like? I think there's enough proof in the pudding with Kirk Ferentz against top-ranked teams coming into Kinnick to defend that.
That would be great. Look, I would love nothing more than Iowa to beat Alabama and Kinnick. I don't see it happening, however. I have Notre Dame hosting Virginia Tech. Notre Dame probably losing one game along the way. Virginia Tech losing two. I think that Virginia Tech, I really had to choose between them and LSU, but I think the ACC, between the ACC and the Big 12, one of those two conferences gets a second team in. So I gave it to Virginia Tech based on how they're being projected and their schedule. I have them playing against Notre Dame. However, I have them losing that game. And then Texas, Penn State. I know we've been ignoring Penn State, but really between the road trip to West Virginia and the road trip to Wisconsin and the road trip to USC, I think they win one of those three games. And assuming they lose the other game against Ohio State, that puts them at 10-2. So I think that puts them in the playoff. However, they do lose to Texas. Now, if we're going in order of operations of the selection committee, I think Georgia, the 1 seed, will take the Sugar Bowl because of pressure from the SEC, where they will host Alabama. But I do think
did we just gloss over you have Virginia Tech beating Notre Dame?
No. Oh, do I have Virginia Tech beating them? I think I messed that up. I don't know. I think a little bit of this was last minute. I'm not gonna lie. I might have got a little happy on Virginia Tech there. But okay, Notre Dame probably wins that one. Anyway, I don't know though. It depends on what happens with the Notre Dame quarterback situation. Anyway, Georgia, the 1 seed, gets the first choice of the bowls. They take the Sugar Bowl against Alabama, and I think they win. Ohio State gets this second pick of bowls. They will go to the Rose Bowl, their traditional bowl site. They'll host Texas. However, I think quarterback play wins out there, and I think Texas gets the win there. Then we have Florida State going to Atlanta, a short trip to host either whether it be Notre Dame or Virginia Tech, and I think Florida State may get the better of them, but that's kind of anyone's game out of that little bracket right there. And then Utah hosting the winner of the Oregon-Boise State game. I got Oregon winning that one. So then we go to the semifinals. I think Georgia, being the 1 seed, forces Oregon to come across the country and play in the Orange Bowl, where I think Georgia gets the better of them. And then Texas and Florida State will meet in the Cotton Bowl. Unfortunately for Florida State, they don't get to play in the Orange Bowl. They have to go to Texas to play against Texas, and Texas gets the better of them. And we have a Texas-Georgia national championship game.
All SEC, huh?
All SEC.
Another rematch.
The rematch, and who knows what happens in the regular season. The game is in Austin in the regular season, so maybe Georgia's trying to get their revenge. But national championships in Atlanta, so I'm going to go Georgia to get their third national championship in 4 years, kind of like Alabama did at the beginning of their reign of terror under Saban.
Wow. Okay, folks, that's our show. Make sure you give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. And subscribe as my computer hopefully will make it. We're trying to bang out one more show here, but I can't predict anything. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. We're just getting started, all right? At TCE on SGPN on Twitter. Also, youtube.com/the college experience. Previewed all 134 teams, every single conference. Get the hell on over there. We also host the FCS College Football Experience, the College Basketball Experience, the College Baseball Experience with Noah Beanick. All of those come together as one. youtube.com/the college experience. Get on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button. All right. Till next time, folks. The season is fucking here. I can't wait. Thank you, GBO Farms. Thank you to all the other people that jumped in. Lane Gretzky, the whole chat. Till next time, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.